start this flame, but I carry it, yeah. I got my grandma's prayers in my bloodstream, granddaddy's hustle in my daydream. We survive things you don't see. Inherited fire burning in me. Ashes turn gold when it touch my skin. Every loss turned discipline. I'm the healing they couldn't be. Inherited fire burning in me. Sunday morning starch in the air. Hot comb smoking folding chairs. Recipes measured by memory. Now cups just fill it energy. Bills stacked high like silent fear. But nobody folds and nobody disappears. We learned how to stretch $1 thin and still let the whole block in. They ain't say trauma, they said be strong. So we sang our pain in a church song. Some of this strength was survival, some of it silence and pride. But I'm the one who decided the fire won't just hide. I got my grandma's prayers in my bloodstream, granddaddy's hustle in my daydream. We survive things you don't see. Inherited fire burning in me. Ashes turn gold when it touch my skin. Every loss turned discipline. I'm the healing they couldn't be. Inherited fire burning in me. I forget what they couldn't face. So name the hurt, give it space. So I'm the soft one with a backbone, breaking cycles in my tone. I don't shame where we begin. I just build a wider plan. Therapy and family Bibles, healing both our survival. Legacy ain't a photo frame, it's rewriting the ending of our last name. I don't carry it in anger, I carry it in light. Every tear they swallowed, I let it fall tonight. We're not just what we lived through, we're what we choose to be. And not choose is true. Evolution over history. Grandma prayers in my bloodstream, granddaddy's hustle in my daydream. We survive, now we breathe. Inherited fire, set me free. I just turn gold when it touch my skin. This is where the healing begins. I'm the future they couldn't see. Inherited fire lives in me. The fire don't burn me. It warms me. It guides me. It calms me.
Georgia, Georgia.
Yo, just pulled up to the Love Palace. Ain't no cap here, just facts and feels. D and Kellz on the mic, we talking ships, all kinds. Pull up and unpack. Just enjoy. Friendships that held me down through the struggle. Companions who dipped when I stepped out the bubble. Family ties that tug, some tight, some frayed. But we lay it all out, let the truth get played. No judgment, just lessons on velvet chairs. We speak from the gut, raw love, stripped bare. GoddessDee got that glow like sage in the wind. Queen Kellz hit the mic, truth spilling again.
Ships, we talking, we walking. No filters, just real. Love Palace, the spot where your soul can heal. All them ties, all those vibes, we ain't letting them drown. We lift ships up, never tear them down.
Situation Relationships with benefits and blurred lines. Late night convos that redefine mine. Friend turns to foe, they turn to ghost. But we speak on it all, toast to the growth. Auntie vibes with a twist, drop gems in the mist. Got a palace full of wisdom, come get you a fix. Mic check, soul check, what's your connection? We the pulse of the people, every vibe gets a section. This ain't no gossip, this is gospel with glitter. A sanctuary for the stories they told you to bury. Let your voice rise, let your pain breathe, let your ship dock here.
Hey, everybody.
We're talking, we're walking, no filters, just real. Love Palace, the spot where your soul can heal. Where your soul can heal.
Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to the live Q&A. I hope everybody's doing well. Let me go ahead and shout out the chat. Of course, Holistic Royalty by Kellz is up here with me.
Hey.
Then we have Blessed to be 51.
Hey, Blessed to be
Thank
51.
you
Thank you for coming through.
showing support. We appreciate you so much.
Yes.
DJ King Miller is in the building.
King Miller.
You just got home. I'm happy that you are doing well. Take care of yourself. You know, we got your back, DJ King Miller. We got your back.
I heard somebody checked on you today.
We're making sure you okay. You know, we got to check on your chosen family. You feel me? Your chosen family. So with that being said, while everybody else just drops in the building, don't forget on the ships here, the Q&A, the link is pinned at the top if you'd like to come join the conversation. But in true Love Palace fashion, ships fashion, Queen Kellz, Holistic Royalty by Kellz. How is your mental health today?
Shaky.
Not shake.
Yeah, I've been on the book these last couple of days, having to put some posts out just on my feelings and just, you know, just because people like to disrupt your peace and then come back like they never left and disrupt your peace again. So I had to put a boundary out there for all those to know who I am. Because if you didn't know, now you know.
If you don't know, now you know.
And it's all in love. It's all in love. And I hope that the information helps someone grow. Because I'm not about tearing people down, but I am about enlightening folks.
Yeah, because we build ships up. We never tear them down.
Yeah. So GoddessDee, how are you today? And how is your mental health?
You know, it was like at a 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it went down to a little bit of an 8 because I got a little triggered about some things.
Okay.
So I was like, but then I said, you know what? Let's go and do what we got to do and get on this topic and talk about what we got to do because, you know, you can't hold the captain down. You feel me? But overall, I'm just saying my mental health is great, though. You know, we have our little bumps in the road and all that, but as long as we're checking on each other, make sure you're checking on your family, friends, your romantic partners, your situationships, or whatever shit you have going on. Check on their mental health, though, for real. Like we joke about it, but it's really serious because that question of checking on how people's mental health is could really help somebody.
Check on your strong friends.
Yeah.
The ones that consider themselves strong. Check on them. Just make sure you check in and see how they doing.
Right. So I hope you guys can hear us okay. I think everybody's good because y'all would have said something.
Yeah.
By now, I think we're straight. So the subject was the family reunion, y'all.
Family reunion. Family reunion.
The family reunion. Let me see. Let me play it. Maybe I need to play a clip.
I think.
Which one do I want to do? So we could go ahead and set this conversation. You want that one? Okay. All right, y'all. Let's start this off.
If your in-laws understood this, it would just make your life a lot better. You guys are married. You make your own traditions. You make your own decisions. You're your own family. The door's wide open. We love you. You're always welcome. But your family has to do what you want to do, and our family's going to do what we want to do. And if there's anything we can do to accommodate you, we want to do that. When you get married, your prior allegiances and loyalties shift. Before that, the Bible says you're supposed to, as a kid, honor your mother and father. And then it says you leave your mother and father. which means they no longer get to tell you what to do. Any adult parents that are quoting obey your mother and father verses are really dysfunctional parents. That's for little kids, not for grown adults. Like, I'm very clear with this with my kids. Like, the married couple, you're a family. The other married couple, you're a family. Grace and I, we're a family. Now we have 3 families. And if we're going to do the holidays together, we need to talk about how this works for all the families. And what I could never do is look at my kids and say, but you need to be with your family. Because if they're married, that's their family.
Excuse me, y'all.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
So
Go
I got
ahead.
a question. Have you ever seen or been around somebody where they're married or they're in a relationship and they have built their own family structure, but their immediate family's like, you still got to come over here and do this anyway with us?
Yeah, I
As
think
we your family.
I really think that's our generation was like that. Like, it don't matter that you got married, like, because he made very valid points. Like, I really like that. That's why I grabbed that clip. It was like, well, and okay, so I got so much. Slow down, D. But listen, usually it was the wife's or the girl's family that they would have to go attend. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Because there was never, I was like, dang, that's sort of jacked up that they catered. It seems to me, now y'all let me know what y'all think about this, that it's more catered in a relationship or marriage that is the girl's family, like, especially when it comes to having kids or going over to visit. It was like, we got to make sure that we attending your mom's, and their other side sort of gets, like, I felt got left out.
Yeah, kind of neglected.
Yeah.
But I do know some guys where, especially I've seen it a lot with single families.
Mm-hmm.
Single families where the mom is like still trying to hold the son to a certain hold the son to a certain expectation, but he now has his own family.
Mm-hmm.
And the mom literally will be like, no, you need to come over here and do this first, instead of being like, okay, spend time with your family or do this to your family. You know what I mean?
100% right about that.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and it's like, I'd rather go to,
I'm like, let me come to your
I'd rather go to his family. I mean, once they got over, whatever they got over, that was a whole different subject. But I'd rather go over there because I don't feel like really dealing with mine. But it does just seem that, and you're right though, that reminded me of Think Like a Man, when he said the mama's boy, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, she was like, and he was hiding it, right? He was hiding that it was his mom. And it was like, no, he had to be like, Mom, I'm with her. This is who I'm going to be with, blah, 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 so it can happen that way too. Shoot, I have 2 boys and I'd be like, here you go.
My thing is, like, I'm patient
2
for my
grown
kids.
men, I should say, not boys.
Yeah, I'm patiently waiting for my kids to grow up because I don't want them to grow up too fast. However, when it's their time to go. I'm gonna come over your house and kick off my shoes. I'm gonna come over and leave a washcloth on your seat. No, I'm just playing, but I'm not. But no, like, I think that family unit is so important, and I think that we've gotten away from actually honoring what the family unit and the family structure is. Like, I hear a lot of people say that there's no handbook for this thing called life, but I think in 2026 you don't have no excuse why you shouldn't be family with your family or have a family that you create.
Yes,
there's so many options out there as far as therapy. There's so many examples out there of what a good family structure looks like. But it's like people want, like, I think that one of the people in the chat earlier said that people want that individualism. They don't want to come together. You have people that get stuck in their ways. They don't want to talk about stuff. They don't want to communicate. And it's really disheartening because it breaks down the family structure. But not only does it break down the family structure, if there's no handbook and you're living this life, understand you're the blueprint for the generation that comes after you.
Right.
And so if you're showing dysfunction, what makes you think that the people and the children around you ain't going to become dysfunctional as well?
Mm-hmm.
And then you get mad at the children, but they are only repeating what they see.
Right. So like I did, that clip I played, I really like how he said, because that's, I know in some vows they even say that you go with your mate and you have your family, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he made it very clear. You got married, that's your family. Your brother and sister got married, that's their family. And then me and your mom's a family. We have to decide collectively, not you just come over here, because your family might want to do something else. Your family might want to do something else, and I have to respect that. Don't be like, oh, now, because I'm telling you, if my husband would have said when we married, we doing this and this and that, and we not doing this, okay, you feel me?
Yeah.
I'd be like, yes, okay, babe, that's we're gonna do it. But unfortunately, it's not like that with every relationship, or people don't view it as a different family. So I like how he broke that down, because you do. That's the whole goal of creating your legacy, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's so you
So
can
you
have
build
your family,
something
but
new.
my name carries on.
Yeah,
You do, and it would be the whole purpose of a family reunion.
right. And then ain't the purpose of a family reunion to meet the people that you don't
Girl.
know?
Let's talk about it.
If you don't, I mean, the family reunion is for you to come in and see the people that you don't know as your family, so they're not strangers.
Right.
The goal is not to get around them and then judge them and act like they're not your family.
So if you guys didn't get to see Daily Dose of D today, I really went on the history of why the family reunion started. It was in the 1800s and 1900s. It's because the indigenous people got separated because of slavery, all these different types of things, right?
Right.
So they, of course, if you think about it, slavery, right?
Yeah.
You get sold, you're gonna you could go to a whole nother state, right? You could go to a whole nother state. Excuse us, y'all. Layla, my dog's barking. You could go to a whole different state and be away from your family, far away, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then your bloodline is over there, or say your brothers and sisters got sold to another state. And so this is how start migrating to different states, right? Or getting sold off. The family reunion was made. So once you got a hold of each people that was part of your bloodline, you celebrated, you caught up with each other. You was like, this is my people. And that's what it was about.
Right.
So you are right. The family reunion is about getting to know those people that you probably did not be around or didn't grow up with, or it's to know your bloodline.
Right. And I get it that you can have friends and partners that do become your family and it creates a whole nother family. I get that part. Like, that's also important too. Because these people can be there for you when your family's not there. These people can support you when your family is not around. But the whole goal of it is so it feels like family. I haven't met anybody. I know there's plenty of people that can say, oh, I'm not cool with my family and all this other stuff, right? But at some point, you are connecting with people to get that family structure, to create that family that you want. That's the ultimate goal of family reunion. And then just the reunification of families. I wish that nowadays, you watch all these movies, like these Tyler Perry movies and all this, because I like some of Tyler Perry's films. One of the things that gets me is that, and it raises the question that people that really don't like their family, what's happened to them? Because when family reunions happen, there's always some type of secret or something going around in the family that don't nobody want to talk about, and it breaks up the family. And so people, we talked about this earlier, that we just sweeping it under the rug. We don't want to talk about what's happening, but how do we fix things? I believe that people can redeem themselves. I redeem that people can really, come from a place that they've probably been held down in or been bound to, or may have done something to the family, or anything like that. But if they're willing to change the behavior, if they're willing to get help, if they're willing to become their best selves, why are we not allowing that grace? Why are we not having these conversations if we say that we want family? And if we can't rectify it, then we can go our separate ways. But where is if we say reunification, where is the reunification or the rectify for the family structure?
And heck, at the end of the day, you need to be knowing who your family is anyway. Even though there's a such thing as kissing cousins, I don't want to be kissing mine.
Now we down south now. We down south and we've seen some extra things. You could be dating a family member.
Right,
dating a cousin because of how slavery has been these last 400 years. You don't know who could be a family member to you.
Right.
And if you don't have a family reunion to kind of get back to be like, hey, you know what? Oh, you a Johnson? Oh, yeah, I'm a Johnson too. Right. I might want to follow y'all bloodline back to make sure that both y'all Johnsons ain't Johnson.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
And I get it, because some people, you be like, we live, y'all. Some people were live. Sorry. Some people, some family members you'd be like, I don't want to have to deal with. And I get it, because we talked about that as well. Setting boundaries. You have boundaries. Go be cordial. Hey, how you doing? Yep, I'm here to see auntie, blah, 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 grandma, blah, blah, blah. You can separate yourself, but know your family. It may be things do need to be rectified. It might not be at that family reunion, but just even being cordial can set a pathway to maybe have a conversation, But there's nothing wrong with having boundaries. I get it, y'all, because I know some people's out there like, I ain't messing. I ain't messing with them.
There's a lot of people that don't have maturity either.
Fact.
They don't have the maturity to see that people don't do this thing in life alone. And having that strong complex, that's why we talk a lot about, we don't like the word strong. We like resilient, because nobody comes to the aid of the strong person. And I think that when I look back at it, I think that's a way to cop out too. Because when you say you're strong, you won't ask for help. And in those moments, you don't teach people how they can help you. You don't teach people how they could treat you. You don't teach them how to love you, because you always being the strong person. So having a level of vulnerability and being able to show that vulnerability with boundaries, because truthfully, that's what it's about, is having boundaries. In any relationship, you got to have boundaries, because this is what teaches people how to react and how to respond, or not react, but how to respond to you. It teaches them how you want to be loved, right?
Right.
And I get it. People can have some outlandish things that they go by doing, certain things. Like you can have certain family members that be like, I don't do this, and this, but they are doing these things. But they'll judge you, you know what I mean? You can have a judgy family member or family members that are judgy, but it's at the end of the day, who you trying to save face for?
And you is not the ultimate judge. So, because that, I'm telling you,
because you see it at family.
I'm trying to look. If y'all can see my face,
right? I'm trying to help her along here, because you see it a lot at family reunions. Like you see family reunions, you have one that's extra bougie. Then you find out in the extra bougie family member that they really got shit behind why they extra bougie. You feel like, what was the one where the Tyler Perry movie where the daughter was extra bougie and the mom passed away, and they found out that the
family
son,
that prays. I think that's the family that prays.
I think it is. And the
mom passed away.
The mom passed away, but she was taking
care of the boy. Yeah, they had a whole secret.
She had a whole secret, but she was so mean and so bougie.
And your mom took care of your whole entire child,
right? And hid it. And he's thinking that y'all brothers and sisters, and come to find out he's your son.
and that's why you being bougie. Right. And that's why you upset and mean. Yeah, because I have a issue with the religious people that be like Lord and Jesus and all this, but then they're not Christ-like. Hey, how about we put it like that?
Yeah.
They don't have Christ-like qualities, like, and I don't expect them to be that type of way. It's the expectation they put on themselves.
Yeah.
I'm a woman, a child of Jesus, of God, and da 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 da. Okay, I get that we're not perfect. Totally forget that.
No, they perfect. That's why they came out and said they're a child of God, because only God favors them, so they perfect. I tell them they're not perfect.
But your behavior should have some type of reflection, right? That's all I'm saying. If you are saying that, I'm just saying, like, reflect that.
All I'm saying is the good book did say love and kindness is how I draw thee, right?
Facts.
It did say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have no love and kindness and you wonder why you alone that night in the basement, I guess that's your problem, right?
I ain't messing with Kelly right now.
I'm just saying, like, it gets dark down there. You can you can spend some dark times underground.
Oh Lord, help us.
Pull us out of that spot. Put us in the light to where, number one, can't nobody shame you but you. And
Fact.
It's only what you allow somebody to do to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, seriously, I get it that we're all human. We can't have human reactions. We can get mad.
Oh,
we can feel sad. You know what I mean? You can have all these different type of reactions, but at the end of the day, only you can allow yourself to feel something from somebody. And when it's your life, you know how I am. I'm a firm believer. You can't tell me how to feel. You can't tell me how to be. You can't judge me and make me feel bad about where I've been in life. And I've been a lot of different places in my life. You know what I mean? But even if you knew what my life was about, you don't get to make me feel bad about that. Boo on you because you thought that was going to work. I run this over here. I have the control of what goes on here. And sometimes in families, I don't think that we allow for that grace that we are here together. Because when you look at families just in general, everybody has something that they can complain about in their family.
In life, general. How about that?
Yeah.
Everybody can complain about whatever they want to complain about.
Yeah. And ain't nobody perfect.
Yeah. No, there is no family that is perfect. There's no human being that is perfect. So what are we doing? Are we allowing to have grace? Are we giving ourselves grace to not allow certain behaviors as well? Because I can say that when you're very family oriented, you can be delusional about things as family members as well too. Like, because you want to, especially if it hasn't really been displayed, or you really haven't had family reunions, and you really haven't been around your family and aunties and them. You only been around selective few that you really long for that and want that. So in the process of trying to get that together, you are allowing certain behaviors and certain things that it's like it can if it disrupts your peace, you really have to sit back and be like, wait a minute, this ain't family, this ain't love, this is not what I want. And being delusional of the family of that unit and wanting to be part of that, just to have it, can jack your whole entire mind up, because you allow things and behaviors that you shouldn't allow, or not even allowing the behavior, setting boundaries. You know, and people should respect. I think when you're in a family, you should respect boundaries of what people want and what people allow. And I think in our generation, the older ones of our generation, it's what I said. I said what I said.
Right. Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do. I said what I said. This is what it is. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Don't I have a say so, or I have my own mind? And just because I don't think the way you think, it should be okay. Right?
That's how they present it.
Yeah. But like I said, I really enjoyed that point about how excuse me, that he broke that down about how each family is like your legacy is gonna go like that. This is over here. You create this one. That's your family. This is your family. This is your family. Yeah, we can be a big unit and work together, but we're still separate at the same time. And you don't have to do every single thing that is required.
Yeah, and that's something, but that's where I think that people get it off because there is a level of individualism that you do want being in the family.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because like he said, you are your own family, which would be that's your individual family. However, we still have to find grounds how to bring our families together.
Yeah, hold on, y'all. Go ahead. Okay, definitely. So, like I said, I find that very interesting. I love how he broke that down of how you have your own families, you create your own families, and then you decide what you want to do as collectively, right? Collectively, do I want to do this with your side? Are we going to do something on our own? And I think that's a good way to look at things. I really do. I think that's a wonderful way of looking at things. And if you want to create a unit or a legacy, I think it'll work wonderful that way because that way you're allowing people to have their own minds. You still have individuality, but you still are with your family as well. Definitely on that. So this topic of family reunion, we talked about how you can create a chosen family, right? Because a chosen family is one like you create, right? You begin to create your chosen family because, like, I'll play that clip in a minute too. Like the guy said, there were some people that it was his friends and his partners that he can confide in. We talked about that too as well. Like if you know you could call somebody at 3 a.m. in the morning and not have no, they not gonna trip on you. They gonna be like, oh, it's okay. That's good to have. And I remember my husband at the time told me that he said, any good friend is really your friend is gonna turn into family.
Yep.
Their friend turns into family. Because like I stated before on the other show, part of the show, I used to think everybody was my friend, y'all. Yeah, it was bad. Like, yeah. And I'm just, as far as I'm concerned, everybody might not agree, but I think I'm a pretty cool person to hang out with. And I'm a people person. Let's put it like that. I like to have fun. I like to, laugh. I like to just do things and giving. I was very, very giving. And it's a blessing and a curse. That's where I have to learn the balance and all of that,
But it shows your love though. Like the fact that you would think that people are your friends or your family, you know what I mean? That has a certain level of love attached to it.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
to even be invited into that space, whether you knew kind of what friends were or family was, period.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things that you still want to make sure that
who is you
inviting
Hold
them
on.
in.
Who's you, Thug Love? Hold on, y'all. Go ahead and talk.
Okay, so
I don't know who
one
Thug
of the
Love
things
is.
also that we got to look at too when you are in family, friends also have hiccups in there too. You know what I mean? Because
Who is you?
friendships
Hello?
will have their own challenges.
Hello?
Mic check, can you hear me?
Yeah, who's
I hear
this?
you.
Yeah, this Naga.
Oh, you said Thug Love on there. I'm like, who is Thug Love? Don't be doing that, Naga.
Yeah, I just changed the name to accustom to my new channel.
Oh,
How you
okay. How you
doing?
doing?
I'm doing great. Much love and respect.
How are you today, Naga? And how is your mental health?
Ask that again.
He said, say it again.
I said, how are you today? And how is your mental health?
Oh, great.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
Thank you
okay.
for joining us up here on the
Thank you
panel.
for joining us up here. Been a long time. It's been a long time. Thank you for coming to the platform. Do you want to
For
add to
sure.
the conversation? We ready to hear somebody else talk. So, what you got to say about this stuff? You had a lot of good, interesting questions and comments in there. So, we want to hear your thoughts on this subject that we're talking about today. Anything? No? Yeah. You on mute. But it's okay. When you're
Yes,
ready,
it's
we'll
me on
go.
video. Can you
Huh?
guys hear me?
You going? You sound like in and out. Talk again. We can't hear you.
Yeah, it just might be your
Listening for
connection.
now. Yeah, I do. Just happened. Nothing. Yeah, I'm just listening for now. I just got.
Okay. Okay. So oh, I was talking about.
Oh no,
Go
that's
ahead.
what I was saying.
Go
Like
ahead.
even in friendships, they have their challenges too.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
it's not just with family that you have your challenges, but you
Mm-hmm.
can have challenges in your friendships too. Like you can have the miscommunication issues. You
Mm-hmm.
can have jealousy. And also in friendships, the difference with friends and family is with friendships, you can actually grow apart from your friends.
And say I'm okay. I
Yeah,
don't.
we don't need to
Facts.
be friends no more. Your family gonna be your family. You could go away from them. At the end of the day, they still your family. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So it's not that even though you may choose your friend circle to be your family, those relationships do too also have challenges.
Mm-hmm. You right. I think I mentioned that too because we were saying that. I was saying now don't like you expect the same type of respect and loyalty and communication and all those things the same. If you're calling somebody your friend, you want that the same way it would be a family.
Mm-hmm.
So the distinction is it's just not blood, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's just but you want that same type of feeling when it's all said and done to have.
Yeah.
So definitely. So let's see. Let's go back to this one where I believe
Yeah, we gotta stop acting
let's
like
play
we
this.
owe our family more loyalty than we do our friends and people around us. Oh, blood thicker than water. What do that mean anyway? Cause mustard thicker than Hennessy. But I still drink more Hennessy than I eat mustard. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. But a lot of family be feeling like they can treat you any kind of way, talk to you any kind of way, disrespect people around you, and then you just supposed to move on past it. A lot of family don't even like to apologize or have real conversations after all of that stuff. You're not even taking accountability. To be honest, my friends is like my family anyway. I call them my family. I've been friends with the same people for so long. They show up, they kids, my nieces and nephews. And I'm a good goddamn friend. And I'm a good goddamn family member too. Don't get me wrong, I got some good family amongst me. And I love them to pieces. But we don't have to chase up after no family. We build our own families around here these days. Over the years, what I learned is family will turn into relatives and friends will turn into family.
Yeah.
Wow. But I find that what I find that's crazy though too is most friendships already have tools built in because when you talk as friends and family, where
Mm-hmm.
you have the ability to check on your friends, you have the ability to apologize, and you
Mm-hmm.
have ability to adjust, and then you have an ability to forgive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that's very difficult in a family ship, I would say.
Yeah, and certain ones absolutely because they you have family members that don't want to have the difficult conversation, have resentment toward each other, right?
Mhm.
All these different things, and you're like, we should be better than this. That's and you hear that too. We should be better. We need to be. You'll hear some of the elders say, "We are better than this. We need to push all this aside." And you'll be like, "Yes, I agree." But where's the accountability gonna be,
Right. I think
or the
that's
maturity?
yeah.
Can you hear me?
Mhm. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I was listening to Greedy earlier. you know, and it so happened, you know, that he talking about on something that I agreed on, that has something to do with what you guys is talking about. But you know, with the lack of accountability, I think it's coming from us not having intentional, whether it's conversation, intentional, uh, we're not having building intentional family. Uh, we're not picking intentional jobs. We're not picking intentional habitable location. So I think we the thing is we're not doing nothing with intention. So therefore there is room for no accountability. What do I mean by that? A lot of this conversation is pointing to the problem, but never how can we come to a solution, right? And if this conversation is centered around having a solution, we will be on our way building it, but we can see that we're stuck, right? We're stuck in a falling state, right? When it comes to consciousness and humanity, is that we're not working towards finding solution. We're just trying to dissect the problem and trying to understand the problem, because a lot of people don't even think there is a problem. A lot of people think it's the norms, you know. Yeah, it's just okay. Yeah, I could have, like the guy is just talking. Yeah, I could. All right. Y'all don't want to apologize. Y'all think y'all could just talk to me any type of way crazy. I gotta have my own family, so it's okay, right? But it's not, right? It's not okay because their family exists before the individual. The individual do not exist before their family, right? So therefore, you will never be able to say, I'm gonna just leave my family and have my own, right? Individuality exists within their collectivity, but we like to go with the individual perspective when it comes to everything. But I don't want to hug that mic. Y'all got it.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right when it comes to solutions, because that's really, even though we talk like this, we do offer a lot of solutions. I know, because Kelly's really my cousin. We're really blood cousins. So we decided to, let's start breaking some generational curses. Let's have difficult conversations. Let's raise our children to be able to take accountability, to be able, we're doing our best to install new things into our children. Part of the solution is sometimes you might have to separate just so you can break those generational curses. And then, oh, yes, of course, that's going to be your bloodline, but let them see the behavior is different, the actions are different. You have to take accountability. And once you start instilling that in your children, and once they get a certain age, they got to learn to take accountability too. Some may fall short of that, but part of the solution is actually doing the work. I'm fortunate enough that I have my son and my cousin, and we are trying to, sorry, we are doing breaking generational curses. Like, no, it's okay. That's what we were supposed to talk about. It's okay for men to have feelings and to be vulnerable and to cry and to take accountability. It's okay. You need to take accountability for your actions and things that you do. I think part of the solution, sometimes you do have to start within your immediate family, because of the generational curses have been passed down and passed down and passed down. And you do have to work within yourself first, because you can't even help your kids or nobody else if you're not doing anything to heal and help yourself, finding out those things to help the healing processes. Go ahead, Kellz, you got something?
Yeah, no, the one thing that I would like to add to that too, though, is that to fix these things, one, yeah, you have to have honest conversations. The second thing that I'll add to that, there has to be a level of emotional maturity, which a lot of people do not have. And that's a hard one to get somebody to recognize. Also, you have to have a willingness to apologize. Drop the ego and be willing to apologize. These are the fixes that can help mend relationships. But when we talk about that, sometimes the ego covers all of that up. And so we never reach that point because it's just, you made me feel this way, or you did this to me. But what about if someone's trying to apologize to you? Being able to apologize without the ego, and like you said, taking accountability, speaking about truth. Most of these things also, when we talk about fixing these structures, nobody wants to tell the truth because the lie is deeper than what the truth is. And nobody wants to speak about what it is that has happened in the family structure. Everybody's like, oh, we're not talking about that. And some people can't overcome that. Some people won't go to family functions. Some people won't be integrated with their family because the family refuses to talk about Uncle so-and-so who did this. The family refuses to talk about grandma let so-and-so, or mama let so-and-so, or daddy let so-and-so, or this happened with this person. Or nobody wants to have that conversation. So until we are able to have honest and truthful conversations about how the family structure, we may continue to be broken.
Uh, the truth is unapologetic, right? The truth is
Mm-hmm.
unapologetic. So the truth don't apologize. So the thing that we I agree with you with everything you just said. Uh, to me, this is the second part to the structure, which is expansion, and you can see why also women are more open to this, right? To that type
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
of
Okay, Blended.
consciousness, because women are responsible for expansion, pushing the boundaries, right?
Right.
Growth, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
women represent nature. So, but the problem is there is no structure to expand. So this is why we're stuck, right? So there is
Right.
no structure to expand, and this is where the man, right, come in place. So, uh, I think we that this is why I'm saying that we gotta be intentional, like all around, right? When it comes
Mm-hmm.
to building the structure, because to me it's simple, right? All
Mm-hmm.
we need is a model which we already have, which is men, women, and children. MWC, right? Men, women, and children. This is a structure that's society built upon it, politics, religion built upon it, right? So also, right, we can elevate ourselves upon the same structure, but it has to be in the right order, right? Men have to assume responsibility and accountability, and women have to play their part, and children have to play their part. So, yeah, I agree. We apologize. With the moral, with the everything. But first, we gotta have a structure. And
I
most
agree
men
with
don't
that.
want to come and build the structure. Most men don't want to agree because men, like the guy that we just listening to, man, I don't have to, take all this from my family. I could go ahead and build my own, right?
Mm-hmm.
So part of rebuilding the family is not living, right? Because we already separated if we're looking at it, because we're not living in approximate to each other. So we're all already afar. We all already have the distance we need, right? So part of rebuilding the family is not living, right? Is not living
Mm-hmm.
because you already have that space, that privacy that you need to build. So you just making sure that space is safe. So you invited everybody, right, to that space. Now you become the foundation, the grandmama house where everybody wanna hang out to, where everybody wanna come and talk, with, and figure out and come up with a solution because this is the house of solutions, right?
Right.
So
Right.
somebody have to be the bigger man and say, all right, this time I'm not leaving. And we can see this happen too in dating and relationships. How
Mm-hmm.
most women, right, they will take so much from a man, right, to the point that where they probably married and have children, but they end up leaving, right? They end up leaving. So
Right.
part of
Yeah.
rebuilding it is not leaving. right, is extending your grace to that man for the sake of the children. And your children will have that model and say, you know what? My mama, had a lot of things going on. My mama took, it was a lot of things my mama couldn't take from my daddy, but you know what? She stayed. So my daughter could be like, you know what? It was a lot of things, right? That my daddy, that my mama couldn't take from my daddy, but she stayed. So I must stay. I have that model, knowing that it's going to work, right?
But can I
So
challenge you, Naga?
yeah, go ahead.
Can I challenge you? Because
Yeah, yeah,
looking at today's world, we say that we not leaving, but I've seen
yeah.
things where people do not change, and I've seen where relationships where, as you're saying, the mom won't leave. But how does this not create dysfunction within the children if the mom's just continuing to put up with the behavior and the father's not changing, or vice versa? That the mother may be
Because
doing something and there's nothing that's changing. You're saying stick in there until a change happens. Is that what you're saying?
yes, because children carry the legacy. So what messed up in the household, the children will correct that through proper guidance, right? And proper model, right? Because they have the model, they can correct that. But if they don't have the model, they won't be able to correct that. This is the reason why we need the children the most in this generation, because they're the one that carry their legacy.
So if okay, so if say there is a relationship or a marriage or something, and it's an abusive one, and your children are seeing this behavior, you're saying that if there's not a change, they should stick through that.
Yeah, I'm saying because the parents stick through it to the end, so the child left with something. Most of us were children. The reason why we're speaking in a corrected way is because we observe. So we probably didn't have the model in the household, but our situation put us in position where we see a model, and because we've seen the model, so now we can correct it, the mistake that our parents made. So our parents didn't see the change, but we as children, we inherit that change.
But you well,
And that are
I
now, but- so we are now parents, right? That's creating a generation, right? That's gonna do better than we doing. That's on the right path, since we know that we're correcting where our parents fail, right? Because we reach out and find the model, or our situation put us in place to find the model, and since we're correcting that, right? So that puts our children in place to even, right, be on a better position than we was.
so how do you explain then generational curses or things happening? So if I'm in an abusive relation and I stick that in, and then my son or daughter goes and they be in an abusive relationship, and then it keeps going on, how when does that generational curse or that behavior stop? Because they stuck
So
through it.
we only take one, two, or three generations, because my daughter going to grow up and realize that I was abusive, that I was abusive, right? And my son is going to grow up and realize that I was abusive. So they're both, right. They're going to correct that by not being abusive. It's not about me, right? Because like
How
I said,
so?
the
How do
children
they
carry the
how do
legacy,
they correct that without an example to show them?
because they're going to resent me. It's in their nature to resent negativity.
And a child can also resent you for staying in a relationship.
No, listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying the children looking at the model, which is the parents that's being abusive to each other, right, or to one another, right? They are the one abusing that, so they're going to resent that. They're not going to gravitate toward that. They're going to resent that, and
Okay.
because they're going to resent that, right? So that's going to make them reach out for a model. They're not going to know why they resent that, right? But the situation going to put them in position so where they're going to understand, oh, this is why I don't really like my mother and my father. It's because this. Because this is why I really like my dad, because my dad was abusing my mother, and that's not right, right? Because I've seen healthy relationship where fathers is not abusing, their wife, so they will know why they had that resentment for their parents in the beginning. As children, they won't know why they had that resentment, but it will build up. This is why most of us we resent our parents. So we go back and build that relationship because we understood what took place. But we resent most of us. We have to understand that we resent our parents. Those of us, that had unhealthy parents.
Okay, so in some ways I can understand what you're saying, but I think where I'm having trouble is I have seen the model of children being in an unhealthy, seeing an unhealthy relationship and modeling that relationship again. So what I'm hearing you say is that you stick in there and wait for your generations to correct that for you, because what it sounds like is happening to me is that we're creating the cycle of toxicity and normalizing the fact that this behavior should continue until someone breaks the mold, instead of trying to figure out how to create a healthy balance of what this looks like. Because why, I think the question for me is, why should I have to resent my parents if there's something that can be corrected? And the parents should be the one to model what that correction looks like. If you're looking
The
and you're
well,
seeking
the
help,
resentment the
if you're
resentment only
looking at,
coming from
oh, go ahead.
an unhealthy parent, from a unhealthy household in the first place. I'm not speaking about resentment that's coming from a healthy or positive household.
Right,
I'm saying
right.
that if the household is unhealthy, their children will resent that household, and we can see that in society. Most children that resent their household, their parents was unhealthy, right, and unfit,
Mhm.
right, or broke, or the household was broken. So that directly make the child resent that household, right? So I'm saying one, two, or three generation, right? That child or that child, right, or that grandchild, right, will
Right.
find that model. Will find that model where they corrected it. I said that it only takes one, two, or three generations. So the first generation might not correct it. The second might not, but the third will surely correct it.
Okay, but are we making an assumption that this is something that will happen? And the reason why I say this is because why do we have to go through generations of dysfunction instead of building the generation, having these conversations? Because in order for us to correct anything, we have to admit what the problem is. We have to talk about what the issues are and move to correct them, not to keep perpetuating the dysfunction that is happening. Because what I have seen, and even in my personal experiences, and let's see, I have family members. Let's see, I have some family members that have now gone to the fourth generation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where it's the grandma, the grandpa, the mom, the dad, now the children, and then those children have had children, and the model is still there because it's dysfunction, and the
Yes,
dysfunction is
but
now normalized to the point to where these people are living like this. It's not in the society that we live in, is showing that perpetuating dysfunction is normalized more than a healthy family unit or family structure is there. And so if you've
But
never modeled,
that's only from from expansion, right? Because remember, I started by saying that expansion, the way we're discussing the problem is important, is necessary, but it's the second part of what we're experiencing, which is the expansion. So first, we need the structure. So
Hey,
if the
ghetto child.
structure so if the structure, right, is me, let me say, use me myself as a woman, right?
uh,
If the structure, right, is to stay with a man that's abusing me, right? If most women, right, is to stay with a man that's abusing them, right? Then we know that people do change. Because we know that people do change based on that structure. We're not saying that people doesn't change. That's a different structure we can build on. but the pillar we're building on is the fact that people do change, right? So if most people, right, most women stay with the man that's abusing them, or that's unhealthy or unfit for them, right? Because abusive is extreme, right? That's unhealthy or unfit for them, right? If most women stay, right, since we know that people do change, meaning that we will have, right, a good, a certain amount of those men that will change, right? That will change, and deal with those women, right? And those children will see that, and those children will perpetuate, right? We keep that same cycle going, right? So over time, what will happen? Those people that didn't stay, right, and those people that stay and still end up being unhealthy will basically X themselves out. Because what we're looking for is for solutions. So we're not propagating, right, those that don't work, right? We're not building behind those relationships or those women that didn't work, right? I mean, or that didn't stay. We're only building structures and infrastructures behind, those that work and those women that stay. So if because we look what we're looking for solution, right? So we should only, right, push what work. Not that we're not going to be cautious in the thing. Those that don't work, we're going to use that as an example, right? But what we're pushing is what is working, and because that's what we're pushing. Eventually, like I said, over time, that it will be the norms. That's how the broken home started, right? The broken home started with a narrative that's being pushed. It's being pushed, right? It pushed so much to the point where over time now it's being the norm, right? People think that broken homes is normal to have a broken home. I could go ahead and have a baby with that woman. I don't have, to be in their house. Or I could go and have a baby with that man, put him on child support and leave him and go be with another man. It becomes the norm, but it didn't start like that. It had to push,
I
right,
don't
and
think that's
expand
the
to the point.
norm. I agree with you. I don't think that's the norm at all. We should try to stick things out together and try to work out. That's what it's supposed to. That's what it's supposed to look like, right? That's what the way it was built is for us to stick things out and make sure that it works, right? That's what, but because there is these generational curses, or you're in a situation where, because like Kelly said, we have things going in our family that's way past the third, fourth, fifth generation we're finding out. And now we know, so we're deciding to make that change, even though it still affected us. It affected us. So I agree that it still affected us, but we did something different. We didn't stay, or certain people didn't stay in certain things because, yes, it's the norm to be like, hey, let's, we're supposed to stick it out. Yes, through thick and thin. That's what it says. But when's the point when it starts affecting you mentally, spiritually, physically? There has to be a change. That's where I say. Blended said that's a good theory, but do you have a case study of this? This sounds like book theory opposed to real life situation. So
Ask
that's
the question. Ask the
because
question again.
I'm just saying from personal experience. My experience is, uh yes, all the women stayed with people that they shouldn't have stayed with. Okay. And their children are not off, and it passed on to the next generation, and it passed down to the next generation because they all decided to stay. The one person that said, now this is personally, that said, I'm not doing this no more, we're not, this is not what I want to do, I'm not doing it grandma's way, changed the whole thing for the rest of the family. That's what I'm saying.
But if we change if we change the phrase generational curse to generational cutoffs, y'all probably see what I'm saying better.
No,
Because
I
No, I
understand.
understand what you're
No, I
saying.
no, I do understand what you're saying, because what you're shedding light to, you're not shedding light on the people that don't change, like you said. You're not looking at the ones that's not changing and the things that don't work. You're looking at, because from a perspective that people can change, you would stick it out. But here's the thing that I'm saying in that you have to be able to see that the person is willing to change. Because if you're sticking it out, there has to be a level at which, or a point at which, a person is going to turn the corner and say, you know what we're doing here is dysfunction.
Yeah.
We have to do something different. That is the world that you're speaking of, is that now we're here. And yes, we're
That's where you come in place. That's where you
right,
come in place.
right.
That's where
Well,
you
we're
expand. That's where you expand the structure. Because
yes,
remember, I'm focusing on the structure. I'm a man, right? And
yes,
I'm basically saying that the women, they expand the structure, the infrastructure, right? So
right.
that's where the women come in place in knowing that, okay, right, this is how we go. But what I'm saying is building the structure.
Right.
That's the structure.
Yeah, and that's why I do understand building the structure, but we don't live in a world that's showing that. One, we do live in a world that has shown broken homes. The thing that I'm looking for, I understand there's no perfect person. So I understand there's going to be all different types of nuances. Now you may be the one man in a bunch that believe in, okay, if I have the woman that's building something, I'm going to be the man and come in and lead that structure. But when you look at us as a whole and us as a people, we perpetuate cycles that are unhealthy. That's why we have ghettos. That's why we have certain children, that there is no modeled behavior for anybody to change. And this can
Here is what
continue.
it is. Here is what it is. There are a minority of women that did stay, and in that minority of women, right, there are more men that changed than men that didn't change, right? So if that narrative is being pushed, right, though more women would stay and more men would change. So the only reason why it's not is because the narrative that's being pushed is okay to leave a man if he's not doing that, if he's not doing this, if he's not doing that, if he's being abusive, for what, from being unhealthy to the extreme, right? Just leave that man. That is the narrative that's being pushed in the music, in the media, everywhere. So
Mhm.
therefore, more women is going to leave their men, right? And less men is going to change because he's already pre-assumed that she's going to leave him anyways.
So I can agree. I can agree on part of that. The part that I can't agree with that is I've seen women stick in there, and you have women that say, I don't want to leave because of the time that I have spent behind trying to get my relationship together with this man, and still stuff never changes. So I'm looking at both perspectives of, yes, I would love it to be what you're saying, but I can speak from my personal experience where I was one of those women that stayed, and it was very unhealthy. And I had to make a conscious decision for my children that, one, I either stay here and allow this to affect my children, allow it to infect me, or I
Listen, this is
leave
I mean, this
and I
is
have to
where
change the structure of what's going on. And believe me, I
you
stayed
speak.
for a very long time.
You're speaking from a personal, from a place of experience. This is
Yes.
why you can go in details, or but the way I'm speaking of, you have to be able to leave that personal experience to go and basically talk to women that stay like you. You're not the only women that stay, right? There is a lot of women that stay, right? And when you start talking to those women that stay and for the reason they stay, and the intention and what they was doing when they stay, because just staying, because I could just say, all right, a man is going to abuse me, I'ma just stay until he changes, but I'm not doing nothing to make him change,
Well,
right?
I will, but hold
So
on, let me
is
stop you there. But I wasn't being, let's get this clear. I wasn't being abused.
no,
And
please,
I'm not,
please, please,
but hold
no,
on. No, 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 hold on. Wait, let me stop you there. Because I don't want
no.
to think that this is coming. I'm only utilizing my personal experience as an example. I'm not thinking from that perspective. I'm looking at, I have seen throughout media and everything, I've seen women actually stay, and they stayed, and it still hurt the family structure. So I'm not just, I'm only applying this to myself because I just wanted to bring a personal experience of what you're talking about and how it went the other way. but I have talked to plenty of women that have stayed, the grandmothers that have stayed, and watched how it has affected the whole family structure and the whole family line. So I'm taking it off myself and also
But
applying
isn't
what
life
I'm
about
seeing.
the experience anyway? How can you say anything if you have not experienced it? Life to me, this is my
Yeah,
perspective. It's about the experience. It's about
by
experience.
observing, by
Huh?
observing, by observing. That's a different perspective.
You can still observe. I can observe a lawyer being a lawyer. That don't make me a lawyer.
Yes, exactly. So
You
this
see,
is
I
why. This
cannot.
is why.
All I can do is observe. That's all I can do.
Yes,
I'm not
yes,
going to be a
this is
lawyer. You
yes.
see,
Remember, this is
but
that.
if I am a lawyer and I'm in the experience and doing
Hold
the
on,
same thing,
hold
then
on.
that's different.
Hold, hold on. You are the lawyer, and I'm not. So listen, you are a meaning that you're a woman, and I'm not. I'm a man. So therefore, I can never speak from a personal experience of a woman. I can only speak from an observable experience. So my perspective would never be the same with y'all, but it can be there can be a bridge. It can mirror, right? So when again, this is why I'm saying to the sister, you know the reason why you can speak on it like that is because you have personal experience, but you have to leave that, right, to basically to be able to observe, right, the experience that I did not experience, but I observed that I'm giving you that perspective of it, right?
Mhm.
So all right. So again, right? That's why I said if I'm a woman, it's easy for me to say, look, a man was doing this to me, was unhealthy. He wasn't fit to be a husband, but I stayed, right? Versus a woman, right, that actually say all those things, but she actually worked towards, creating the space for that man to change, not actually fueling, right? Not actually matching the energy for the man not to even want to stay, right? He's only staying for his advantage. Maybe because he probably still be able to get some sex from me as a woman, right? Or probably still be able to get a meal from me or me washing his clothes from him. That's why he's staying, right? But he's not staying because he want to change because he think I'm a good woman, right? And most men will change for a good woman, right? So that's why I'm saying that
You
if
show me where that's being
Hello,
perpetuated in
hello.
this society.
Yeah, let's let
How y'all
Blended
doing?
him.
Hey, Glendale.
say that
Blended
again.
hit the
Salute,
panel.
salute. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, good.
Okay.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
Uh, I don't know the gentleman's name.
that's
yeah.
Let me
not
see.
You just talk about, yeah, talk about
Oh, that's
him.
talking
not.
to. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, hey now, hey.
Eh,
Listen, now. Let me ask you a question.
yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Were you born stateside or was you born in another country?
And Caribbean.
In right, the Caribbean. What? How
Yeah.
old was you when you got to the states?
I was 16, 17.
Okay, so my thing that I wanted to ask you because I'm listening to you talk and I'm saying to myself, you're thinking of it, even though you have the experience here in the States, your roots started where you came from. The
Correct.
Caribbean, the Caribbean people are different than African Americans. So what my question is because when I'm listening to you talk, it's more like it talks to me as though it's theory, but it could be different in another place. So my question is that is there a blending that's going on in your perception, or is it something that you was rooted with, and that's your perception that you came up when you got here?
Uh, is something that was blending with my experience here. So it was rooted on me. So in the Caribbean, I see both healthy and unhealthy household, right? Because my grandparents, right, they was healthy, right? But my immediate parents, they was very unhealthy. My mom left, my dad when I was 8 months old, right? and my aunt them, and my uncle, is broken household, right? It's all broken household. So growing up, so I grew up in the broken household with my uncle them, my dad, you know, and my mom being away, right? And he on that side of their family is similar, right? So I grew up with that. So I was hell. So I wasn't listening to nobody. I was more, doing what I wanted to do and please them when I wanted to please them. And because of that, they try to punish me by sending me, to my grandparents because my grandparents was so-called on the countryside. So they were trying to keep me away from the privilege of being in the city, right? So trying to punish me, but by punishing me, so I get to leave that experience where I could see a healthy, household from my parents. So, yeah, so I was still, growing up. Like I said, I was only 16 when I came to the state. So my experience here in the state, helped me blend it in. Now I can have a broader perspective and see that, healthy and unhealthy relationship don't only exist in the Caribbean, but it exists all over, right? Embedded in the culture.
Okay, so boom, you said that, right?
Yeah.
So my thing is this. Is that me? Okay, but anyway, my thing is this. You had both experiences. The majority of the African Americans only have one experience. You have the advantage of seeing it from both sides. Now, when you look at it from other Caribbeans or people from another place, they too have the same experience. The average African American only has one, and it comes from brokenness from the beginning. Now, do you have a valid point? Yes, you do. However, because of the brokenness that comes from the root of the situation, it carries on from generation to generation to generation. There's only a few that will break that mold. A few that will break that mold. Did I say a few? A few will break that mold and then go the way that you're saying. But I'm going to say the majority of it is still all in dysfunction. That's my opinion.
Yeah, that's what my point of my talking point is based on that. Is based on the minority that have the catch, right? For example, I'm second generation. Some of y'all probably first or third, right? In the chat, right? So, but we have the catch to make the gen. So that's why I said, if that narrative is the narrative that's being pushed and being supported, right? So I'm saying, over time it will be, you know, uh, there will be a balance. It will be the natural order, you know, and by that, and because of that, by default, the consciousness will restore itself. We won't be in the fallen state that we are in. So, but when it comes to the average African American, I think we do have the same experience, similar but not identical to the experience that I have. So, because uh, I had to see a healthy household because I was away from my immediate parents, right? Because they was already separated. Because remember, one of my talking point is that we already separated, right? So I was already separated away from my grandparents because my parents were separated from them. So the reason why I get to see that side of healthy relationship is because my parents didn't want to keep me around during certain time, right? Like during the summertime because I had more time to be, bad, right? So that's why I get to see that healthy side. But most of us here in America, right, because the household is broken, we resent our parents anyways. So when we go out in society in public, we can see a model of healthy relationship, whether it was our friends, right? Whether it
Well,
was
what
a neighbor.
society are you talking about, Nick? Because, like I said, there's a few. There's the majority of them are not like that. I happen to grow up in a family where everything was copacetic. At least that's what I thought. You understand? So I had both my parents. I was blessed for that.
Yes, you
But
can do what I'm
but
saying.
people down the block may have not have that. But I grew up in an era where that was like a whole neighborhood raised your child. It's not like that anymore because now
Yeah,
it's
what I'm
more,
saying.
there's more to it than it's more to it now based upon how fast society has grown in the direction that it's going. Like I
Yeah, what
said,
I'm saying
when
is
I
that
grew up, it was like that. Because you can get, by the time you get home, your parents already knew what happened. So it's all about perception and how you were raised and how you was growing up. Now, it's also the time and the era that you were growing up because each generation goes through a different evolution. So therefore, right now, the speed of time is because of all the technology that's happening now. So more people are being connected that way. So with that being said, it goes in both directions. Either you can heal and move forward, or you continue in the dysfunction. But that becomes a personal choice. But you wouldn't know that if you didn't know where to look for the resources. So that's why I said it sounds like you are more based on theory of what it could be than what it actually is.
yeah, because I was talking to women, and I can't speak for women, right? But I have the experience, coming from a healthy household. But what I'm saying is that the experience is not identical, but it's similar, right? So here in America, right, most of us probably didn't get it from our grandparents, right? But what I'm saying is that we get it from a neighbor or we get it from a friend. We know a friend that had a healthy household. We knew a neighbor, right, that had a healthy household. We knew other people from other neighborhoods or other states, right, that had a healthy household. To me, this is similar, right, to me, right, seeing that model outside of my immediate family, which is my grandparents, because they wasn't living in proximity with each other, right? My grandparents was in the countryside, right, and my parents was in the city, and it's been like that for generations, right? So what I'm saying, the experience is not identical, but it's similar. Most of us here in America, right? We have we experience healthy relationship and unhealthy relationship. A household. We do. This is why those of us like us on the panel. This is why we have we have that change. This is why we're sparking the change. This is why we're making the change, right? We're working on towards making the change because we have seen that.
Well, if I
And
may
basically,
offer,
yeah,
though too, here's the thing too. We live in a generation here in America where your neighbors can cosplay like the relationship is a good relationship. And people will stay and the house is still dysfunction. But because you see two parents together, we automatically assume that they're in a good relationship and that the children are getting. You will have people that you'll have three children, just for example, and this is not an experience of mine, but I'm just giving an example that you can have three children grow up in the same household and all of them will be different. You will have one of the children, if this house is dysfunctional, you'll have one of the children that will follow the dysfunction. You may have the other child that despises the dysfunction and try to make a different change when they get out of that relationship. And the third child might be kind of dismantled because of the relationship was dysfunctional. So that's kind of what we're experiencing here in America, where it will look okay because you have two parents in the household, but it can actually not be that. And we can think that this is what it should be. And again, this can perpetuate a whole nother cycle of the dysfunction because you think that it's perfect until you actually are there and in that household to experience what's going on in that household.
That's facts.
On the outside, it could look like it's good, but until you actually live in that household, just because you can visit there and you see the two parents, when you're outside of that household and you don't know what's going on inside of that household, it could be a whole nother story. And so that's the perspective that I'm coming from as well.
The way I'm speaking is only convincing is because I'm speaking from an intentional point of view, meaning that right now I'm ready, right, to find a woman, right, to meet a woman, right, and however she is, right. If the vibe is connected, and we made an adult decision to be together, right? So it's up to me. So I'm not gonna do right like my father did to my mother and leave her, right? I'm gonna stay with her and extend that grace and hoping that she change. Now, whether she changed or not, right? That's on her, right? That's on her. But also for me to assume that she's not going to change, right? That's basically robbing myself from even having that experience, right? Or from even saying that, okay, you know what, it's even better, to not even be with a woman, right? So that's what I'm saying. I'm speaking from a point of where I am right now, intentional, yeah, right? Intentionally where I'm at right now. Yeah, in the past, right? It was different, but I'm not having that conversation based on how I feel on the past, on the experience I had in the past, on what I have seen in the past. I'm speaking from where I'm at right now, and I think that most women where they are right now, not only those of us that speaking on that level where we are right now, not only y'all will stay with a man, but y'all will stay because y'all working on hoping that man change, not just wait, not just saying that to just to stay, because that wouldn't be wise, right? If you know the situation is already unhealthy, right? If you staying, there gotta be an intentional reason why you staying, right? Meaning that is if it's for the men to change, then you're going to work on doing things, right, to make it easier for the men to change. This is where I'm speaking from as a man, right? So I'm finding that to find a woman, whether she's healthy or fit or abusive, if the connection worked and I didn't know none of these things about her, I found these things because people like to wear a mask, right? And I found these things later on. It's up to me to stay. Part of breaking the generational curse is to stay, or the generational cut off is to stay with that woman and working on making it easier for her to change instead of saying that I'm gonna just leave her. That's the easy thing to do. Anybody could leave. I mean, I could see that with my dad. He left my mom.
Right. No, and I'm not disagreeing, and that's the part that I'm not, and that's why I kind of interjected my personal feelings in there because I do agree with you. You do be intentional with meeting someone. You don't come in with the sight that it could be potentially a breakup or any of that. You do stick there, but I added a nuance to that too because, and like I said, when I brought my personal experiences, I was the one who stayed. And I made the provision for the man to change. I did everything that a wife should do to provide the environment for the husband to change. I went in this with the intent that this was going to be my forever relationship. That was the intention of this for me. I didn't look, and he wasn't a bad person when we entered into this relationship. It's things that happened throughout the relationship that broke that relationship down. And even still through that, I still made provision where I'm going, before I even think about leaving this relationship, I'm going to do everything that I possibly can to see this through, because this is what I committed to. This was the person that I gave children to.
My lady, this is it's only right for you to feel that way because again, I'm associating women with expanding. So why would you expand? Why would you expand something that's not working? That's negative. That's not working. So
Well,
you,
no,
of course, you
no,
really,
no, 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 no. I don't want. It was working. This is why I used my personal experience, because it was working until it wasn't. You don't never know that it's not going to work. You have to go through the experience to
no,
even know
listen to
it's
what I'm
not
saying.
going to work.
Listen to what I'm saying. Based on the logic, and remember, I'm saying everything is intentional. I'm
Right.
saying, right? So
Uh huh.
based on what I'm saying, right? Are you still with that man? now?
No.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So obviously, right, it didn't work.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it was. Of course, it was working because, like I said, most people like to wear a mask. So he probably was pretending, right, for a minute. Then he couldn't, no more. It ended up falling off, right? So, and I'm saying a woman could do the same thing to me as a man, me extending my grace, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying, that's not the structure, right? That's not the structure. The structure is only towards women, right? That would change. It's only towards women that would change. So now, me as a man, even though I spent my whole life and deal with a woman that wasn't unfit or abusive, which is extreme, right? Now my son or my daughter me, Dad, why did you stay with my mom? Like, even though she was doing all these things to you, I could say, you know what, son? It's because I was too busy doing things to make it easier for her to change and be a better mom to you and be a better wife to me,
Mm-hmm.
right? I will have an answer to her. I mean, for my son and my daughter, I won't be like, son, I don't know. I just think, it was love. I don't know, son. I think God made it to be that way. I don't know, daughter. You know. So I won't have a whole bunch of I don't know, I don't know. I will have a direct answer, right?
Yeah.
A healthy,
I
a
have
healthy
direct
answer.
I have a
answers
direct,
too.
and that's what I'm saying. I have a direct answer. Like, I agree with what you're saying and how you're saying it in creating that space. But I'm saying in real life situations that happen, that I don't think that a lot of people go into relationships thinking that it's going to end. Like I said,
Right.
I
Your
went into
intention.
this with
Right.
intentionality of this is going to be my forever
Mm-hmm.
relationship. I opened myself up and was very vulnerable in this space. And even when it started to show that it wasn't conducive to our growth, I still stuck in there. I'm still able to answer to my children today why it was that I stayed. And I'm also able to provide them with the perspective of why I left and the reason why I left so that they understand the full all around, because the thing that I want them to see, because life is not perfect. People are not perfect. And for us to not go in and being able to give our children the information that they need, because not everybody picks a perfect person.
So that's
We,
not what I'm saying. Two things can be true.
yes,
Because
yes,
if it
right,
wasn't true,
right.
right, if living wasn't a thing, right,
Mm-hmm,
we
mm-hmm,
wouldn't have all these many broken homes. So I'm not saying that there is no reason for people leaving. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying uh right don't have a reason for why they stay because they wasn't working towards having the main change. Because remember, I'm working towards restoring the balance. My conversation is towards solution. It's not towards the problem because I clearly understand the problem on
right,
both sides, right?
right,
So this is why I'm speaking the way I'm speaking. So I'm saying that
Right.
when it comes to those people that stay, most people that stay, right? They don't, their children probably come to them like, "Mom or pops, why did you stay?" Because even though you did all these things, and my dad still didn't change, or my mom still didn't change, and they don't know what to say. And this is why most children they don't want to do the same thing their parents do. Because why would I follow what you did if you don't even know why you did it in the first place? That's what I'm saying when it comes to the positivity, when it comes to the restoring the balance, restoring the family structure.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I agree with that. This was a good discussion because we usually end it around this time. So Naga, we can continue this at another time because we usually have a time structure on this because it's a weekday. But I appreciate your perspective on things. And
Absolutely.
hey, everybody's entitled to their opinion because we don't judge over here. We're not gonna argue, but we're gonna let everybody speak their mind. But I just wanted to say I appreciate you for coming up here and giving your thoughts and your perspective because it is a different perspective in a way of looking at things. But I'm getting ready to close the panel. I'll close this up because we have things to do. Would you like to say anything else before we end this?
I just wanted to say that I reach out to you on Facebook and I send you a message. Whenever you get a chance,
Yeah,
you just text me.
I believe I responded right before the show.
And like, much love and
Yeah.
respect, and I appreciate coming here like always. It was a pleasure to be up here with you guys.
Yeah.
Until
Thank
next
you.
time.
Thank you for
Okay,
offering your
thank you.
perspective. I really enjoyed having this conversation with you.
So everybody, this is our episode of Family Reunion. This was a good one. Like, hey, like I
Absolutely.
said, we allow people to come up here and express their opinion because no two people can think alike, right? So everybody has their own ways and own
And two things can be true at
and
the
two
same
things.
time.
Yeah,
Like
like my
absolutely, I-
Aladdin says, what's good and what's bad. It's all about what you think, right?
exactly.
So I appreciate you coming up here and giving your opinion. And thank you, Blended Healing, for coming up here as well.
Yes, thank you,
And
Blended.
everybody that was in the chat, Ghetto Child, DJ King Miller, everyone, we appreciate you. What's your last comments for tonight, Kel?
Well, I do thank him for coming up because it offered a different perspective. I really enjoyed the conversation. It was a healthy, wholesome conversation. I thank everybody that comes to our shows and has something to offer when we have these conversations, or just any type of conversation. I'm open to hear perspectives. I really do think it leaves room for people to grow. It also expands your mind and gets you to thinking. That's what we are about. We're about thinking and how to change. It's not always. We provide you with what it looks like. We provide you what it is, and then we provide you with how to make it better. And that's what we're about, and that's within any relationship. So I thank every last one of y'all for coming to join Blended. Thank you for coming
blessed
up on
to
the
be. I
panel.
meant to. Yes,
Again, Naga.
yeah.
Blessed to be 51. Thank you for coming through. Everybody, thank you for coming through on this episode of Family Reunion. We gonna get it together, y'all. One way or the other, the generations, we coming together. We learn. We
were able to have a dialogue with, even though we all didn't, have the same view.
Yeah.
And to me, that's winning.
That's
That's
where
the W.
growth comes.
We're
to.
not arguing and calling at people's names.
Yeah.
And we're listening to each other. So hey, we might not agree on everything, but having a conversation is worth it.
Absolutely. So thank y'all.
Thank you all for coming. We're going to end this episode of Ship. Make sure you tune in to Daily Dose of D, Blended Healing, Alicia Dion. Kelly will be coming back with that meditation in that bed yoga on Friday. Y'all be prepared. Mouthpiece will be on Saturday. Just hit your notification on all my wonderful COC and any other content creator that does come in here. I hop in. I might not pop down, but I'll be there. Okay? So peace and love to everyone, and we will see everyone soon. See you next week on the ship. And we're out.
Now we lift ships up, never tear them down. Yeah, we building, not breaking. Say that. Dream out. You don't gotta shrink in here. Your story got weight. So bring every ship. Let it dock. Let it be seen. Let it be set free. You're safe now. Welcome home.
Georgia, 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 Georgia.